Hello and welcome back to another edition of Viper Bites Wild Card Preview Shows. In this video, we are going to talk about the 9-7-1 Pittsburgh Steelers as they head to Arrowhead to take on the 12-5 Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC West champion Kansas City Chiefs. Now, back on December 26th, the Chiefs won the meeting between these two teams, 26-10, in that game that clinched that AFC West title. Now, the score maybe a little bit deceiving here. Now, as far as it says 26-10, it probably wasn't even that close. Now, for the Steelers, though, coming in this one, they've got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, lots of emotions over the last week or so, starting with watching the Colts lose, then beating the Ravens, really high there, knowing all they needed was for the Chargers and the Raiders not to tie, and then seeing that game go to overtime, then seeing the timeout, then seeing the Raiders kick the game-winning field goal, and then finding out, after all that was said and done, they get ahead to the Arrowhead once again to take on the Chiefs in what many are calling the biggest mismatch of the playoffs right now. I mean, it has the biggest point spread of any of these games that we're seeing this weekend. Now, look, it all comes down to punching that ticket to the dance, in which the Steelers have. And when you get in, anything truly can happen. We watched the Steelers team years ago become the first wildcard team to win the Super Bowl. Okay. We also know that they have a guy on their team that's probably going to win the Defensive Player of the Year. He's my Defensive Player of the Year. He also shares the single season sack record with Michael Strahan. That's TJ Watt. And he is going to need to wreak havoc in this contest for the Steelers to have a real shot at it. Now, talking about that game, back on Boxing Day there, December 26th, Ben Roethlisberger, 23 of 35, 159, one touchdown, one interception. Patrick Mahomes, 23 of 30, 258, and three touchdowns. Advantage, Mahomes. On the ground, Naji Harris, 19 carries, 93 yards, added 5 receptions for 17 yards. Darrell 1L Williams, 11 carries, 55 yards, 3 catches, 30 yards. That's pretty even for me there as far as the ground game is concerned. Now, this last game that they played, there was no Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill was a little banged up, 2 catches, 19 yards. It was Brian Pringle who stepped up, 6 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns for those Kansas City Chiefs, with a little bit of contributions from Derek Gore, 3 catches, 61 yards, and McCole Hardman, 3 catches, 31. As for the Steelers, it was Deontay Johnson. 6 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown with a little bit of Chase Claypool thrown in there with 4 catches, 41 yards. The Steelers come into this contest with a negative 55-point differential, which is the worst of any team in the playoffs. And the Steelers, they only have 2 wins against teams who are in the playoffs, and those happened in Week 1 against the Buffalo Bills and back on Week 15 against the Tennessee Titans. Now, speaking of Ben, he's going to have to be better than he's been this season. His 6.5 yards per attempt over the last month is a little bit better than what he's got on the season, 6.2. But even Ian Book, yes, Ian Book, had a 6.8 yards per attempt. And Roethlisberger, despite those short passes, he's only completing 62% of those. And how's that trickle down? Deontay Johnson. The targets are there. He's getting the targets. Hey, if you're in PPR, you're laughing. 10 targets, 51 yards last week. 15 targets, 31 yards back in Week 17. He's getting targets. He's just not doing anything with them. Like, if you're getting 25 targets, you're expecting to have more than 82 yards receiving. Now, Ray Mcleod, we talk about these secondary options in the receiving game. Someone's got to step up. Pat Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson have been the go-to guys. Ray Mcleod, 30 targets over the last 4 weeks. Chase Claypool, he only has 24. Now, maybe help is on the way. Juju Smith-Schuster returned to practice Thursday, officially opening up that 21-day period in which he can return. And all indications are he's trending in the right direction to come back for this game. It may be something to watch. It may be nothing. Who knows? But what I do know is if Juju Smith-Schuster does play, the best part of this game could be a Jackson Mahomes, Juju Smith-Schuster, TikTok dance off. Okay, maybe not. I'll settle down. Now, as far as Naji Harris is concerned, the biggest question is he going to be at full strength? That elbow injury limited him against the Ravens to about 53% of the snaps. And the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has not done him any favors this season, as he's been getting hit in the backfield more often than not. Now, turning our attention to the Kansas City Chiefs, over the last 8 weeks, no team has generated more scores more often than what the Chiefs have done. 52.9% of their possessions. Yeah, that's pretty good. And they've only turned the ball over 5 times in the last 8 games. That is the second fewest in the National Football League. Not the playoffs, in the National Football League. Now, over the last 5 games, Patrick Mahomes has completed 70.6% of his throws for 8.1 yards per attempt. He is averaging 291 yards per game, and he has a 12-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating of 114.5. When he last played this Steelers defense, Hill was obsolete and Travis Kelce was out, and he still carved them up. Not a good indication for the Steelers in this one. Now, week 15, Edwards-Helaire saw 72% of the snaps before injuring his shoulder back in week 16. Williams, he has filled in admirably, but looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire's last 8 contests, he is actually doing something he's never done before, and that's finding the end zone. He has scored 6 times. Both Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams are both expected to be ready for this contest, so you can expect the Chiefs to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. As far as how this game is going to shape out, this has run away all over it. I'm predicting the Chiefs to win this game 35-13. Now, can the Steelers pull off the impossible? Yeah, I think they could, but they need a lot of help. They need Patrick Mahomes to turn the ball over. They need that secondary to step up. And more importantly, they need TJ Watt to get that pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And maybe a little bit of that old Ben Roethlisberger coming back for one last hurrah. Heck, Juju Smith-Schuster, if he's back with Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Naji Harris, they've got the weapons to score with the Chiefs. I just don't know if they've got that offensive line to hold back that Chiefs front four, because that Chiefs front four, Chris Jones, he himself could absolutely disrupt a game, and we've seen that time and time again. So for me, I want to believe the Steelers have a shot at this. I just don't see it happening. You know what? I hope for anyone who's viewing this game, the Chiefs, Steelers, and TJ Watt give us something to be kind of keep our attention to. But this is one of those games that could get out of hand really quickly, and then the Chiefs will sit back, pin their ears back, and Ben Roethlisberger's arm is not what it once was. Now, that brings us to the conclusion of this wild card weekend game day preview for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, if you're looking for that one website to go to for all your ins and outs, your predictions, your analysis, head over to fantasypoints.com. They have you covered for everything and anything that you may be looking for when it comes to fantasy football. With that said, check out the old Vipers Network and all the other videos that are coming down this way. Throw up the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Take care.